Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division with Various Wind here for the Lake Wabasca in the Lakeside 9-hole cup. Before we take a closer look, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. For those of you that do want to take the next step in your game, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy, either through the link in the description or you're scanning the QR code here on the screen, and you'll find all our tour guide packages and also our tournament guide packages. Info box on the right hand side will help you follow along this playthrough with my elevation and club distance adjustment, also what club and ball type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. So on hole number 1, here you can most likely play in many different ways, but I'm focusing on playing a very safe way to always get ourselves down into wedge range. So I'm playing in between the biggest gap of the trees that are there on the right, using max topspin with all the apocalypse levels clubs, and I'm adjusting max plus 10 P5 with my luminary as I'm using. For those of you playing with Apocalypse level 5, use 2.5 rings of overpower after the adjustment. Those of you using Apocalypse level 6, use 1 ring of overpower after the adjustment. That's going to be with a completely slow needle. Bouncing on the fairway, great right and great left are safe. We're clipping the rough and we're rolling out. And now we're gonna have a wedge that is approximately 50 to 60% slider every single time. On the wedge, on the second shot, it's either to go with the max topspin method or is to go with the no spin method. It's up to you to decide what you want to go with. I'm going with the max topspin method as I do have Endbringer 8, which obviously will allow me to adjust less rings on the second shot. Now, alright, so when we're playing the max topspin version, we're going to play EB School minus 30% P4, and obviously with the true slider. For those of you playing no spin EB School, we do recommend to play plus 25, and the reason we want to recommend to play plus 25 instead of plus 20 is due to the fact that it will be a slight downhill wedge to account for. Obviously you judge yourself what you want to play, but these are my and our suggestion, and obviously P5 numbers with that in mind. So if you do want to get the best guides on the market and crush the Rocky Mountain tournament, scan the QR code on the screen or get the guides on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Hole number 2, and now we're gonna play a rough bump. 4 left spin and 4.8 backspin. It's gonna be 4 clicks away from 4 backspin. Now we stretch out into overpower to look at the tip of the ball guideline to fall just left side of the cup. Unfortunately the trees are in the way, so we're going to have to push the reins. So be very focused on having a correct push angle. In this angle is going to be called for no curl whatsoever, and you can see that I'm pushing very slowly because pushing is not one of my strengths in this game. However though, judged on how this hole is played, I do not believe in bouncing over the water. I do not believe on going left side of the tree. So in my opinion, I believe that the best chance for an hole in one and to safely get ourselves a birdie, that is to go for the rough bump. And what I would say though here is that this worked really well for me in practice, but also in also live, because this is my live shot. You can see there in the end that I added 1 click of right curl. This is to compensate for the lower wind. Obviously for the full details and the wind angle tweaks, you sign up on patreon.com/golfclashtommy, and you can also scan the QR code on the screen. On the drive here, we're going to play straightforward. There is a minor headwind, but this one worked really well. 7 topspin and 2 right spin. This shot has been tested with a luminary. It has been tested for a POC 5 plus, and I'm settling in the end for 7 topspin and 2 right spin, after I felt that was better controlled speed than if using max topspin with a POC 7 and a POC 8. Adjust max plus 10 P5. And then we're gonna play 0.75 ball of right curl and always 1 ring of overpower. The easiest way to do that is that the 1 ring of overpower is just after the circle drop. Bounce it 2 times on the fairway into the rough and roll out to around 375 yards is what we're looking for. We want to hit perfect or great left preferably. A great right, especially a bad one, will still bounce on the fairways, but it will, if unlucky, get a little glitch roll and roll into the rough. You will still be able to save it with the Nirvana, but Albatross attempt will most likely be kind of gone, even though you can still attack the pins. So if you are a great right hitter, I do recommend to reduce the curl just slightly to compensate for that. Tricky drive, but the reward is beautiful as we do now have a short iron towards the pin. On the second shot, we are going to use 2 left spin and 2 top spin always. I'm going to use our plus yardage that we are into as our reference for the adjustment. This is a very elevated shot, so the reason we're playing with the thorn is that we will then allow us to pull just 1 time in all win 4 wins. If we do have a win 3 ball such as the luminary, there will be occasions you have to pull twice, then we recommend to pull only once over bullseye. So this is going to be the standard wind angle, as it's such a downhill approach. There will be wind angles here provided in the guide. No tweaks here. Adjustment is from the plus 8 landing position. It's going to be 100% slider plus 55% elevation, P5 numbers. Bounce on the fairway, up onto the green, and then right at the pin. This worked really nicely for me in practice, but already addressed on the drive. I hit a bad great right of tee live and went into the rough. It was still an easy save, and I could actually go for the pin with the Nirvana without any issues, but try to stay away from great right of tee. If you have a tendency to hit great right, I would recommend to reduce the curl slightly to compensate for that instead. That's my tips for hole number 3. Scan the QR code on the screen or go directly to patreon.com/golf-tommy to get the guide. On hole number 4, we're starting at power 3 max line with our quarterback. So any power 3 side spin 2 plus win 5 ball can be played here. You can see there that I'm also looking to see my second bounce before the spins. Max backspin 1.7 left spin. I hate halved spins, but I like the landing spots, so that's why I tweak the spins for that. What I would like to do is to pull straight, but if favor anything, I would like to favor 1159. But straight pull is what we are looking for. This is the angle with no tweaks whatsoever. If we do have wind more right or left of that, obviously we are going to see wind angle tweaks needed, which will be listed in Telegram and also in the guide. Bounce on the fairway, then on the fairway and takes a down slope and drop right at pin. Dropped plenty in practice, also dropped live, which was really nice. This is a tough par 3 in my opinion because of that downhill slope there on the green, but I think we have found a good spot. Adjustment is 1-to-1 plus 1, so 7.8 miles per hour is 8.8 rings. Scan the QR code for the best guides on the market, and you can also click the browser link in the description down below, patreon.com/golf-tommy. So on the drive here, we are going to play with a P4 side spin 3 ball. You can play with a Centurion or a Kingslayer as well. The only difference it will be there is that you're going to have to use a little bit of OP on the drive, and most likely a little bit of OP if you are short for the second shot. But P4 side spin 3 plus win 4 is perfect, and there's plenty of those type of balls there. Top of +5, white ring by the rough line with a poke 8, obviously overlapping in different way with a poke 5, 6 and 7. Adjust max +10 P4, and we are going to apply no curl whatsoever and try to hit perfect. I've been hitting great right, great left, and they are all safe. Only 2 left spin as well, no top spin, no back spin whatsoever. Goal here is to bounce over the rough and then to roll down the fairway and be somewhere here. It's a very consistent drive which gets us to around 320 to 325 yards every time. On the second shot, we are going to do a fringe check where the fringe meets the fairway aligned with the pin. You can see there, +9 it is. And we're gonna play with max topspin and 3 right spin, always with our sniper. Now we're looking to have the edge of the bullseye just before it shows bouncing on the fairway with the ball guideline through the hole. So when it comes to our adjustment here, we are going to play this one 1-1 as a base from +0 fringe check. So in this instance, we're going to play this one 10.8 rings. In this angle, we're not going to do any tweaks whatsoever. We will, however, in another angle do some tweaks, which obviously will be listed into the guide. What we do recommend as well is to go with a small 1159 as well as our pull angle. Bounce into the rough, it rolls up, and this one dropped nicely in practice, which I'm very pleased with. It looks very scary, but it is not as scary if you do just kind of properly. Even if you would be hitting a great ball or a perfect ball with errors, you will still clip the rough. But this is, in my opinion, the absolute best way to attack hole number 5, tough wind on a tough and long par 4. Scan the QR code or go directly to patreon.com/golf-tommy and get our guides. On hole number 6, we are going to play option number 1 with a wind 5, power 5 ball. This shot is untested with wind 3 ball and only one time tested with a wind 4 ball. The wind 4 ball will work. You're going to have to add slightly on the second shot, but luminary is completely untested, just to have that said. Start at max bullseye just before it gets clipped by the rough. 0.3 top spin, 1 left spin, and we're going 0.8 ball of left curl. Favor a great left over a great right here. I've been hitting both, and a perfect as well, obviously. So a great right will still work. It's just that if you hit a very bad great right, you might have the trees blocking some sort of your view. Again, that's if you are super unlucky. Because the more left we are on the fairway, the better angle we do have on the second shot. Because now we are going aggressive. We are attacking the pin for an albatross, which is, in my opinion, a very good chance. 4 drops in 2 different wind angles before I went live, and this is my live attempt. I'm using 1 right spin, and it's gonna be somewhere between 3.7 up to 4 top spin, but we're always going to be, as the drive is very consistent, around +18 to +20 yards. The important part is to have the tip of the ball guideline 2.5 green square through the hole. If you feel that you generally struggle with the time, then I would just set a heavy 3.8 top spin and just be done with it. This angle is going to be the no tweak angle whatsoever, because now we're not gonna adjust down into the bunker. Aiming for as straight pull possible here. And now this ball is a little bit smaller, so obviously it is a little bit more difficult to center this ball, but I think I'm, at least in this video, have it absolutely perfect. So I'm centering the ball, I'm getting myself a perfect ball, and you will see here now that the aggressive part with this shot is is not really as aggressive as you may think, because we are still landing in the center of the rough with our first bounce. And But obviously important here now to be correct with your pull angles and ball centering and stuff like that, so you're not putting the bunkers in play. We're looking at the top of the yellow ring to be just by the edge of the rough line as well. I don't know if I said that, but now it's said. Wind angle tweaks and all other details will be posted in Telegram, but also in the guides. Make sure to get the guide, scan the QR code on the screen, or you go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Hole number 7, this took a long time, very pleased with it in the end though, but yeah, wasted a lot of time here. 7.7 top spin and 1 right spin is what I'm looking for to use, and I'm gonna have the bullseye just by the edge of the rough line with ball guideline to the hole. This is a Thor's Hammer level 6 plus option, as Thor's Hammer 6 have this amount of top spin. However, the Thor's Hammer level 6 most likely won't be having the ball guideline all the way through the hole, but Thor's Hammer 7 and 8 will have that. Now we are looking to make an adjustment when it comes to Thor's Hammer level 8. It's max plus 5% power 1 settings, and when it comes to Thor's Hammer 6 and 7, we're playing medium distance with a 20% over adjustment power 1 settings. In this angle, using 2 clicks of right curl, obviously we will address what to use in the other angles as well in Telegram and also in the guide. So if you do want full details, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy or scan the QR code on the screen. So on the drive here, we're gonna start at the top of +11, this to mimic the P2 max line, and this is a shot that is option number 1 in our guide. We're gonna have one that is free to play as well. Adjust is max +10 P3, and you can see all the top spin, all the boost, and then a little bit of left spin as well. Once I've adjusted, I'm going to go max overpower with a slower needle. With the face off, the needle will be more or less super slow. With a smash ball, which also is a possibility, then the needle will shake a bit more. With the big top, it will always be a slow needle, but then the wind will be pretty high on the approach. This is a shot where a great left favors a great right, so if you are a great right hitter, I would recommend to use inside wall left curl. So we're going a little bit aggressive in the sense of using the right side instead of laying up on the left side, in my opinion. I've been hitting single great rights with Apoc 8 and have been just safe. However though, Apoc 7 and Apoc 6 and 5 will have less accuracy, and then a great right will most likely not be safe in the sense of staying on the fairway. It will always reach from the rough, but it's up to you to make the call what suits you the best. Apoc 5 and Apoc 6 needs a little push up in the end. That is listed in the guide. For the shorter drives, then we're gonna play from landing position, and we're gonna use 1 right spin and 1 back spin here as well. Similar structure as for the long drives, half a green square short of pin, and then we're going to use +5 once again as a base, and it's going to be 94% slider, plus 40% elevation, P3 numbers. Here in the video I do play max numbers, and I also missed by the difference of 94 and max, and this is a video just for reference because this one is the best quality that I do have from this range. Couple of things to have in mind: that if you do fall short with a smash ball which only has power 2, then you put yourself at the max line and adapt the backspin so you can have the ball guideline half a green square short of pin, always keeping the 1 right. On the second shot, we are going to do a rough line check with the B52, and this is for the longer drives, which is the ones that we do prefer. 1 right and 1 back always. And then we're going to set the tip of the ball guideline to be half a green square short of pin. Now, in the moment, I forget what plus yardage I had, so I'm moving up once again, and there we see +4 it is once again. So half a green square short of pin, and with the longer drives we do have a base with rough line check at plus 5, which is 74% slider, plus 40% elevation, P3 numbers, and here I'm deducting 0.1. Center the ball and hit perfect, and this is going to be a good chance. What I would like you to do is that if you do have a wind that will be in the need of pulling more than once over, pulling more than 10 rings is what I'm trying to say, then still pull once over bullseye, so we do get the accurate numbers. So this is the long drive. Make sure to check out the short drive for reference as well if you happen to not get the rollout on the drive. Get the guide on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. You can also scan the QR code and go directly there. On hole number 9, the drive, it's an NMT, so we're going to open at plus 20. We're using a tiki ball or any other power 5 wind 5 balls here. We don't need any side spin on this shot. Adjust is max plus 10 P4, then it's max overpower, and I mean the needle will be slightly slower than max needle, but it still will shake a lot, and that's why tiki is the perfect ball here due to its good overpower needle. I've been hitting bad grades on either side and has both been safe to still be on the fairway, but obviously we are looking for a perfect drive to be at the perfect angle on the second shot. The drive will vary between 395 all the way up to 410, and therefore we will suggest different spins depending on how long you go, but the adjustment is actually aligning very well because I've dropped it all from +1 pin check up to +16 pin check, which means that the adjustment feels fairly solid. On the second shot we're doing a pin check, so we move our bullseye as quick as we can up to the pin. And this is going to be a +7, and now when we are at the +4 to +7 range, or sorry, +1 up to around +10, then we're going to play with 4.7 topspin. And if we are having a pin check that is up around +14, 15, 16, well, let's say like this, about +10, then we're gonna play with 4.5 bars of topspin instead. This, as we otherwise have a risk of falling short if we're not compensating with a different topspin amount. Adjustment with our base is going to be +4 is mid distance, so 50% slider, minus 10% elevation, P5 numbers. Perfect ball, and we drop it dead center for lovely albatross here on hole number 9. Get our guide by scanning the QR code or go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Link is in the description down below. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division with various win for the Lake Wabasca in the Lakeside 9-hole Cup. Make sure to subscribe to patreon.com/golfclashtommy through the QR code there to the right or through the link that is in the description down below. Obviously we're doing a qualifying round guide and a final round guide for Master. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Good luck in your Golf Clash game.